Welcome back. We've covered topics such as role of a mentor, needs of a mentee in the last module. This module covers e-mentoring. Sound familiar, doesn't it? E-mentoring is quite popular and useful right now. This module is going to be quite helpful to you, that's for sure. Without any more delay, let's start. Before we start, let's have a look at all the topics we're going to cover in this module. You'll get the hang of e-mentoring and why it's preferred. Then we'll see what a mentor does and the qualities of a good mentor. Additionally, you'll learn how to monitor diverse populations and to overcome cultural barriers. All the topics are very interesting, and there's a ton to cover in all of them. Let's dive right in. We are all familiar with the concept of e-mentoring. Let's try and define it, shall we? E-mentoring is a mentorship that's carried out virtually. It's really that simple. This is done with software, emails, and other means of digital communication. With e-mentoring, the geographical limits are eliminated. People can communicate at their convenience and beyond time zones. Why is e-mentoring preferred? The first reason is obviously the ease of use. E-learning software is becoming more and more user-friendly, and the least tech-savvy person can easily access and use the software. It makes it easier for people across the globe to communicate. This is something face-to-face mentoring can never provide. E-mentoring makes it easier to stick to schedule this, which is an added bonus. The sessions can be recorded and stored by the mentees for later use. Resources and networks are a lot more easier to share when it comes to e-mentoring. You've understood what e-mentoring is and what it has to offer. But what sets it apart from good old face-to-face mentoring, except that it's done through technology, obviously? As it doesn't require participants to be in the same physical location, people of diverse cultures and nationalities are brought closer. You might have figured it out. Diverse people have different needs. There are language barriers, time differences, varied economic backgrounds, different use of technologies. We could go on and on. But don't worry, we'll be dealing with all of them soon. Apart from traditional face-to-face mentoring and e-mentoring, there's another type called blended mentoring. As the name suggests, it's a blend of both face-to-face and e-mentoring. Communication occurs in more than one mode. This method is pretty handy as it gives the advantage of virtual mentoring and those of face-to-face learning. The only hindrance here is the limits of location. This question is very common. What should a mentor do in an e-mentoring program? Quite simple. Mentors play the same role in the e-mentoring program they would in a face-to-face program. They have to understand the mentee's needs, be supportive, and do everything they would in a normal mentorship. Another thing e-mentoring has in common with other methods of mentoring, a mentor should have the same goals as the mentee. The point we're making here is that the common goal of mentoring, virtually, face-to-face, or blended, should be the progress of the mentee in both professional and personal aspects. We've seen what a mentor should do, and now we're going to look at the qualities of a good mentor. A good mentor is an active listener. Only by listening to the mentee is it possible to understand what they really need. They need to be flexible in their mentoring methods. Different people need different methods to learn the same thing. This quality becomes more important when it comes to e-mentoring as people from varying backgrounds and culture come together under a mentoring program. A mentor is expected to be open-minded. This is useful when the mentee seeks help for personal matters. Open-mindedness deepens the mentor-mentee relationship and helps in the long run. Knowledge about the concerned industry is a must for a mentor. The mentee needs this the most when they agree to get into a mentorship. Neutrality is expected when it comes to group mentorship programs. You might have noticed that the word mentee is used a lot in this course, though it's not actively in use. The alternative word, protégé, implies favoritism, but it's all right if you have a preference for either of the words. Favoritism is undesirable in any setting, and it should be avoided in a mentorship too. Friendliness and outgoing quality make the mentor more approachable. The mentee feels more inclined to communicate with you, and it works wonders on the mentorship. Mentoring a diverse group of people is no small task. To make it easier, we have a set of pointers to help deepen a mentor's relationship with mentees of different backgrounds. Understanding a mentee from a different background and taking time to learn their perspective, needs, and difficulties benefits the mentee in so many ways. For example, a mentee facing language barriers can find it difficult to keep up with the sessions. Taking out time to make sure they got what you're trying to convey and helping them improve their language skills are a few things you can do to help them out. Focus on the quality of the session more than the quantity. This motivates the mentees to work more on the mentorship. Establish a safe ground for the mentee. Take steps to ensure that there is no discrimination based on any grounds between your mentees. This is done by acknowledging stereotypes and moving forward. Ignoring such problems only worsens the situation in future. Finding a perfect balance for the situation is imperative. Overcoming cultural differences isn't very different. Aside from previous pointers, there are a few more to be followed to overcome this particular hurdle. Acknowledge the cultural differences the mentees face. Like it was said before, acknowledging is key to solving these problems. Take time to understand the mentees' cultures and the problems they face because of cultural differences. Learn all the do's and don'ts in the culture and be sensitive to them. Invest yourself fully in training each person and never be judgmental or biased.